There are new strategies being developed for special education as schools everywhere navigate distance learning. Educators are also collaborating to support the needs of students with significant disabilities during this pandemic, as it has its own unique challenges. Here with more insight is speech therapist Traci Bean. Hi, Traci.
Hi, how are you today, Aubrey?
We're doing pretty good. We're happy to have you here on the show with us. Talk about how distance learning is impacting special needs students.
Well, overall, students are way better at this online thing than we are. But having a disability does create additional challenges for distance learning. For instance, if a student uses a device to speak in class, typically, the special education team and the family, they need to figure out how to work together to make sure that that device can work online. Some students actually found it difficult to answer questions to their teachers in a timely manner because they had to do extra steps like muting and unmuting yourself, things that we're learning how to do through the online as well. Some students actually told me that they would turn off their cameras and not participate because they felt like everyone in the class was staring at them, that they were the only ones on the screen. So teachers are working really hard to get up and running this year, developing this new routine with the students and helping them have a really positive experience this year.
Well, I know that I've definitely heard, a lot of concern about our special needs students doing things online. Is that going to be a huge setback? A lot of parents are probably worried that their child isn't getting the attention they need or that they're falling behind, especially when it comes to progressing academically.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a setback. I think our children and our special needs students are going to have a lot of the same problems getting up and running as the typically developing students as well. There's bound to be some regressions. The teacher is kind of used to that, though. Our teachers deal with that every year after the summer anyway. So this is just going to be a new year. We got to get the kids back to the classrooms, keep them moving forward and in a positive direction.
Let's talk about some challenges that parents are facing with now having to become the stand-in teachers, or at least, the ones at home that are really having to nudge them and take the initiative to get things done with their child. What challenges exist?
Well, I guess the biggest challenge is that parents have to work. And so taking time off to educate their kids at home is not necessarily an option for everyone. And for some of our families who have really severe needs, their children have severe needs, the school provided them with both education and respite. So, they're faced with dealing with their medically fragile children or children with extreme behaviors 24/7 now. So they're worn out, understandably. So schools and families have to balance the risk and reward by sending maybe teachers and therapists into the home to help some of these families to deal with it. But as we know, that's not necessarily a safe idea in this pandemic. So teachers, they have to take, our kids are special needs. They have individual needs, and they have to look at every child individually.
How can parents then stay connected with their child's individualized education program? The whole team keeping them all on the same page, especially during distance learning.
Well, a great way to do that is to schedule weekly check-ins with your therapist, maybe via email. You can determine if your child's IEP needs maybe need to be updated for this learning environment. So an individualized education plan is written for every child in special education, and the team gets together and they kind of look at what that learning environment looks like in order to make it the best possible environment for that particular child.
I was going to say, anything else parents can do to support their special needs child during that transition?
You know what? I think it's just to be positive with them all the time, to make sure if they're really negative about the situation, their children will feel that. They'll probably build on that even and have possibly more difficulties. So parents really need to be positive that this is going to work for everybody.
I agree with you. Whether you have a special needs child or, like you said, a normally developing child, everybody, we need to stay positive and stick together through this. Traci, I want to thank you for joining us and sharing some great insight. If you want more information, you can visit tesidea.com.